So I started following Reading FC back in 0506. It's an easy one to obviously flag as a Reading fan, but played for my local football club, and Reading FC did a local ticket scheme where they gave local clubs free tickets. We went to see 3 games that season. First game was Sheffield United. Third game we went and saw was the Derby 5-0. It's obviously a big memory for me. First time we're crowned champions, and kind of ever since then I was sold a dream, and it hasn't quite delivered since then, because it was kind of the pinnacle of everything you could maybe say. I'm a glory hunter from Reading, from their glory days. But been a fan ever since 0506 when I went to those games when I was 8 years old, and been hooked since then. Players that I'd keep an eye out for in this Reading team, I'd probably keep an eye on Charlie Savage. A lot's been said about him. He's come in, obviously a lot of hype surrounding him at Manchester United. Was under 23 captain at Manchester United for a season. A lot of United fans surprised that United actually let him go, and the deal that we seemingly have got for him seems to be quite good. Very, very little up front, if any at all. It actually sounds like it's free, but with sell-on fees down the line. His pre-season has kind of been marred by this transfer embargo and not being able to be registered, but he's now registered. He hopefully will play on Tuesday. The pre-season he's had has been very good. He's quick on the ball. His spatial awareness on the pitch is fantastic. Seemingly, I'm really looking forward to seeing how he develops this season. So the player I'd keep an eye out for would be Charlie Savage. Tactics and strategies is a tough one, because again, pre-season has been it's been a mishmash. Reuben Sellers, it took him weeks to get his permit in place, and then when it was in place, we were already 3 weeks into pre-season. What we can go on is obviously his time at Southampton. He learnt his way under Ralph Hasenhüttl, and was obviously assistant manager for him in his final season, then became manager at Southampton. He seemingly likes a high press, a high, almost like Geigen press type style of play. Plays, a narrow 4-4-2, seemingly almost a 4-2-2-2, with 2 almost attacking midfielders in front of defensive midfielders. Apart from that, though, it's really difficult to kind of say, because we've seen so little of it. The pre-season that Sellers has been again marred by all these embargoes, and even though we're out at it seemingly for a second time now, everyone's thinking, when will we be back in it? I think we'll probably get a better idea of how Reading will set up and will play on Saturday when we play Peterborough at home. In our first game in League One. Until then, it's still a bit of a guessing game, really. But I think it'll probably be a 4-2-2-2, narrow 4-4-2, however you want to phrase it, with a high press, quick counter attacks. Hoping for some quick, exciting football. Chances in the Carabao Cup, it very much depends who Millwall put out. That's the bottom line of it. Millwall are a Championship team, we're a League One team. I don't think people can get away from that fact. If Millwall put out, a weakened team, we might have a chance, but then again, it depends what team Reading put out. It's I think we all call it now a bit the Mickey Mouse Trophy, right? It will just depend on teams, I think. Would I be upset if we go out? No, not really. You guys will probably think the exact same, right? It's just one of those competitions now that have just gone a bit kind of by the wayside, and we'll just have to see what teams get put out on the night, I think. Biggest areas we'll probably look to exploit, I think, again, we're talking about the high press with Reading. If that is what we're going to look to kind of go after, I guess when the ball comes out from the keeper, quick moves through the thirds, moving it out wide. We don't actually have many natural wide players, but that's the natural way of, trying to play quick counter-attacking football. If the defenders, I guess, hold the ball too much, then the press coming from if it's going to be Smith or Ehab Isherman up front, Harvey Nibbs as well, runs his socks off. That's probably where I guess the main threat will come from that, and then the counter attack. How has the club evolved over the years? Great question. It's been a steady, painful death by 1,000 cuts, seemingly decline. It's the last 10 years. If you look at, the finishing position of Reading FC over the last 10 years, it's been nothing short of miserable. Since our last into the Premier League, we finished 7th, and then it's just a smattering of 17th, 19th, the odd 3rd or 7th, but then 20th, 21st, 20th, 21st. It's, you look at Reading over the last 10 years, it's just been desperately sad to see. And you combine that with an owner that's now seemingly as broke as you can find them, not able to pay HMRC bills, getting transfer embargoes left, right and centre. We've now seemingly got one for the next 3 windows for obviously non-payment of HMRC, which mean that will take up to about 5 years of hard transfer embargoes by the end. Points deductions. Yeah, there's been nothing really fun or kind of that's developed with Reading FC over the last 6 years under Dye, and really the last 10 years since we've been out of the Premier League. I guess the one shining light really is Mark Bowen that's come into the club. He's bringing back a bit of what we like to call it the Reading way, buying young, or bringing in young players into Reading FC, exciting players like Charlie Savage, on low transfer fees. Reading were never a team that spent more than their means. You look back at the days of John Medeski, his phrase, we cut our cloth according to what we have. That was the phrase he always used to say. Reading fans got a bit sick of it, I think, by the end of it, but you look at kind of where we are now, and you just wish we could almost go back to those days, of living within your means. But yeah, with what Mark Bowen's doing, it looks like he's trying to get it back on track. With Reading FC, he's our head of football operations, but how much he can do, his hands are tied by the man above him, by the owner. The sooner the owner goes, the better, really. There's been a fan movement, Sell Before We Die, that's been set up to, start protesting, obviously, against the owner. I think fans have been very patient with him, but yeah, the protest group has been set up, and hopefully, if the owner goes, if Mr. Dye goes, then Bowen might be able to start a bit of a renaissance, really, at Reading, because he's implemented some good things at the moment, some really good behind the scenes changes with recruitment and everything. But how far he can do it with Dye in charge, who knows, really. If I could have one player back, who would it be? Again, great question. You could probably pick about 11 players for Reading FC at the moment, because again, even though we're able to get players like Charlie Savage in, we're still really light on players. I'd probably pick either Steve Sidwell or Graham Murty. Graham Murty, because this Reading team at the moment is really lacking leaders, and Graham Murty was our greatest ever captain our 106 team. Took us to the Premier League, over 300 appearances for the club. He's a legend amongst Reading fans. If we could have a leader, a captain like him back at the club, a stalwart that's there for 7, 8, 9 years like he was, I think many Reading fans would be highly appreciative of that. And Steve Sidwell, just because of the midfield at Reading has been so poor for so long. Last year was just the worst midfield I think I've ever seen of any team, not just of a Reading team. It was just non-existent. how long we've longed for a player like Steve Sidwell that can boss the middle of the park, as energetic, goes like runs forward, runs back. He was the epitome of a box to box midfielder. He's probably the most fondly remembered midfielder probably of Reading FC's time. Him and James Harper in the middle, incredible. Yeah. If I could have probably one player back, I know I've picked two, but I think you could probably spare me of that, given the lack of players that Reading have, I think, at the moment, or quality players anyway. Oh, manager, who would Reuben Sellers be from a movie? I think I'd have to pick. It's a bit of an odd one, but there's a reason for it. I'd probably say Lieutenant Aldo Ryan from Inglourious Bastards. He's played by Brad Pitt, purely because Reuben Sellers, he's been doing some good deals, and as Aldo Ryan says at the end of the movie, damn good deal. I think I'll choose Reuben Sellers to be him. I think there's only really one player I can pick, to bring from Millwall's team into this Reading team. It's Ian Fleming. I probably won't be the last person to say that this season for you guys. His quality's there to be seen. I remember when we played you guys last season, just seeing it shine through. He can create, he can score goals. He's the perfect attacking midfielder. He's got pace. How much players like that go for now? You're probably talking, the close to 10 million, above 10 million. If we could have a creator like that in this Reading SC team again, it's something we've lacked since John Swift in our team. Hopefully, a Charlie Savage or Lewis Wing can come up and fill that void. But yeah, if I could pick one player from Millwall, it'd be Ian Fleming. I think with social media, certainly podcasts have got so much bigger within the Reading fan base. There's a few now going, but I think ultimately Twitter Spaces, I think, have been really, really good. It allows everyone to get their voice across. It's something that we're looking to do a lot more with EPR this season as well. Almost, being able to do almost like a 606 style phone in, after games and stuff. Run that on Twitter Spaces. It gets everybody a chance to get their opinion out there. And I think it's a great way for content creators as well. I know you guys at Millwall have done a fantastic job of that. I've listened to some of them myself, and it just helps get everyone's voice out there. It gets people included, and really that's the role of social media channels like EPR, like the Millwall podcast. So yeah. So our show, Elm Park Royals, or at EPR, we've been running since 2016. It started off just as a Twitter channel, started doing podcasts in 2017, and been running podcasts ever since. We mostly just do podcasts. That's what we're good at. That's what we like to stick to. We're not reporters at the end of the day. We're just a group of fans that talk a bit of rubbish, on the weekend and during the week about Reading FC. But we do previews, we do post-match podcasts, we do reviews, we do player podcasts with members of the club. We did one last year with Mark Bowen, our head of football operations. So we just do podcasts, all things Reading FC. So if you want to have a bit of a depression of what's going on at Reading FC, there's not really much exciting things that really happen at the moment, or really anything fun. It's normally doom and gloom at the moment. But if you want your Reading FC fix, come over to the EPR channel.